So I'm gonna try to explain this the best I can, as easy as I can. Originally, it was said that his family had left him, leaving the 11-year-old to himself, which was then changed in Ultimate Alien Force, when it was stated that he ran away from his home after demolishing his parents' home shortly after his mother remarried after the death of his Osmosian father, Devin Levin. Later on in Omniverse, his origins were changed again, with the false memories being planted in his head and several other characters' minds, as well as Osmosians being used as a word to describe mutants. First, I'm going to pose all the questions I've mostly had about the rooters, and then explain how everything fits within the canon of the show and where exactly.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues. I'm the spark that makes your
If I'm not mistaken, it's either the classic series or a flashback in Omniverse, but the main heroes know that Kevin's last name is Levin. So why didn't Max put the pieces together sooner and try to talk Kevin down the next time they encountered him, explaining that his late father used to be partners with him and everything else? I mean, yeah, people who are unrelated have the same name, but really, Devin Levin and Kevin Levin. I feel like Max could have said something much earlier. We're never given a timesheet for this, so it's all about guessing when these events took place. It's possible that after Max went into the Null Void in Alien Force, Cervantes saw this as an opportunity, grabbed Max, and placed the false memories of Devin Levin inside his mind. You'd think he remembered when Manny, Helen, Pierce, and Alan teamed up with Kevin and attacked them. I mean, Ben and Gwen were 11 at the time, and I'll give them a pass because they were young and a lot has happened since that moment. To their perspective, they randomly got jumped by Kevin and to what they could have believed to be his gang. So this could have just easily slipped their mind. But I think Max, being the experienced plumber for however many years, and having encounters with aliens even before then, would definitely make these connections and probably try to steer clear of them once he was aware that Manny, Helen, and Pierce were in the Null Void. I mean, originally, I chalked it up to him being an older guy. He's getting up there in the years, and he probably just forgot. Even so, Cervantes could have used that to his advantage as well, seeing Max's mind as weak and more manipulative. There's also a point in the episode Max Out when Max says he's been watching Kevin and saw how much he's grown. But why would he be even doing that? Which asks the question, could Cervantes have gotten a hold of Max sometime prior or possibly during the first half of Alien Force Season 1? Well, we finally have the proper answers as to what the Rooters were doing this entire time and how they planned their attack on Ben. Recently, Derek J. Wyatt has cleared up some things from the Rooters arc that makes things a lot more clearer. So what I'm going to do is collect all the information we got from the series as well as behind the scenes and try to map out when these events take place. At the beginning, Kevin, who is an Osmosian, or in other words, a mutant, runs away from home due to his abusive parents. He meets the Tennysons, finds an enemy in Ben, and eventually finds himself imprisoned within the Null Void, where he meets Coral. After calming Levin and teaching him how to control his powers, they plan an escape, which leads to Coral's death. when he sacrifices himself in order for Kevin to escape. While stranded in the Null Void, Kevin meets Cervantes and the rest of the Rooters. At first, the Rooters were originally a part of the Plumbers, but became a special operations unit within the Null Void, answering only to the High Proctor and the Magistrata. After saving Kevin from being attacked by a Volpomancer, the Rooters took Kevin in and used his ability to create mutated alien-human hybrids, also known as Osmosians, using them as soldiers to combat against the coming storm known as Ban Tennyson. Which, I mean, can you blame him? He almost blew up the universe. After losing control over his powers again, Cervantes disbands this team of Rooters, replacing their memories with fake ones and letting them loose in the Null Void. Sometime during or after Kevin's involvement with the Rooters, Cervantes created a clone of Kevin who had been given the name Agrigor to take Ben down, but the threat had passed when Ben took off the Omnitrix, putting their plans on hold for the time being. But while Kevin had sided with the Plumbers, a former Rooter known as Ragnarok escaped the Null Void and arrived on Earth, playing along with the current situation in order to make sure Kevin's previous memories hadn't somehow returned. I want to say because it's the only scenario I can think of that makes sense in terms of the characters and the story. So, what I think happened was when Mac was transported into the Null Void, Cervantes also sent Ragnarok out on a mission to plant false memories inside of his mind in order for him to keep an eye on his experience. In order for him to keep an eye on his experiments, those being the Plumber's helpers, as well as Kevin. Later on in Ultimate Alien, Agrigor, a genetic clone of Kevin, would show up seeking absolute power. Originally, at some point in the 6th arc of Omniverse, Agrigor was supposed to come back and find Kevin himself, as well as reveal that he was a clone with fabricated memories, which canonically explains why the Rooters were mentioned by him before in Ultimate Alien. His mind had been altered. Sadly, the Rooters arc didn't go as they planned, which is obviously why he didn't show up. Fast forward after the Agrigor and Ultimate Kevin storyline, the Rooters would return in Omniverse, although it's unsure how they were aware of Ben's current heroics. Possibly Cervantes heard of Ben recreating the universe, or he sensed it. This caused him to reform the Rooters and search for Kevin, leading into the Weapon XI arc, where we learn the truth about Kevin's past and the history of the Rooters. And that is the origins of the Rooters as well as Osmosians. Agrigor is my favorite villain within the entire franchise of Ben 10, and I really wanted to see him return after the events of Ultimate Alien, and to know that there were plans to include more of him within Omniverse's story, and that he had a greater connection to both Ben and Kevin is satisfying enough for me. But as always, thank you all for watching, leave a like if you want, and I'll see you when I see you.